Now, for more on that, we're joined by Mr. John Stepling, author and commentator, joining us live from Norway, and Mr. Jason Unruhe, political commentator and analyst, joining us live from Ontario. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for the time that you've spared for this discussion. Now, Mr. Jason Unruhe, I would like to bring you in the discussion now. Well, we heard Donald Trump directly accusing the Democrats, whereas before that he had said that he would own the government shutdown. Now he is blaming the Democrats for the government shutdown directly in his address to the nation. What measures do you think the Democrats should be taking? Should they back off right now at this point in time, now that they're being accused?
Oh, no, definitely not. This border wall, regardless of where you sit on the Democrat or Republican side of the fence, it's a bad idea all around that would essentially send the wrong message to the entire world, or perhaps probably the honest message, if not the right message, that people of certain skin tones, people of a certain color are not welcome in the United States. That's certainly the message that is being put out by Trump and by proxy the Republican Party. Yes, in the past, the Democrats have issued, a very similar kind of wall kind of idea, but frankly, the idea is simply not feasible. Whether or not it would work, it's still a tremendous waste of money that could go for much needed things. I mean, we still see the people in Flint, Michigan drinking tainted water, and other places are now suffering from a very similar crisis. The conditions of public schools in the United States are now probably the worst in the developed world. So trying to allocate this money to something that is merely almost an ego project for Trump at this point, a man who has not been able to live up to many of his campaign promises. But the wall seemed to be the one thing that he harped on the most when he was running for office. This seems to be something that he's not willing to back down on. I think that perhaps in his mind, he feels he's been pushed too far. He doesn't seem to understand that politics is a game of give and take. His job is to carry out the will of the American people, and many of the American people are against that wall. Politics is a game where you're playing, making concessions and deals with other politicians and other parties to get things done. However, on the issue of this wall, he seems to feel that those kinds of normal rules don't apply in this situation, in that this is where he's going to draw the line. This is the one thing that he's not going to go back on, despite how much of a setback that he has suffered from it. He said that it was going to go up right away. It didn't. He said that Mexico was going to pay for it. They're certainly not going to. Then he said, they were going to come up with some kind of scheme that people sending money to Mexico.
I'm very sorry, I have to cut you off because we're running out of time, Mr. Unruhe. And since you mentioned the people, we actually have something prepared right now by my colleagues in the newsroom. Unruhe's final comments in less than a minute. Mr. Unruhe, if you could wrap it up. How do you think this will affect the American people and the 2020 elections? Will Trump have enough support from the people to get the votes that he needs?
I think this will greatly affect the 2020 election. I think that if the wall is managed to stop, it will embolden much of Donald Trump's base and create a great kind of hysteria against the deep state. It may also very much hurt him because this was a very major campaign issue that he wanted to make. But I think that the other guest is right when he says that this could explode into a larger civil rights issue. A lot of problems are going on in the United States right now. And, as Mao Zedong said, it only takes a spark to start a prairie fire. And this could very much escalate into a much greater issue.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jason Unruhe.